If you also like going on mini vacations in your mind while you're reading thrillers, today I'm going to talk about some destination thrillers set in Italy that I've either read or are on my TBR for this summer. The first thriller set in Italy I want to talk about is The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. I got this book after reading Reckless Girls and The Wife Upstairs, which I love both of those. So I was very excited to read this book set in gorgeous Umbria, Italy. Without any spoilers, I'll just give a little bit of the plot away. We have these two female like writers that were friends, really close friends growing up, but now they've kind of drifted apart. They decide to spend the summer writing their books in Italy in this gorgeous villa. We have tons of scenes of beautiful countryside, delicious food, charming towns, and they are kind of navigating their own kind of problems. And the protagonist Emily gets obsessed with this horror novel that was written in the same villa in the 70s. So we have like two stories going on. Whenever she's reading the novel, we get like the perspective of this novelist who is in this house, and there's like all this crazy drama going on. There's a murder and all this really interesting scary stuff. And yeah, we get the two stories, which is really fun, and we find out kind of what happened in that famous summer, and it all kind of explodes at the end with the friends, and it's really, really good. Let me know if you've read this book or if you're going to maybe read it this summer. The next thriller I want to talk about is The Other Guest by Helen Cooper. I read this book after reading The Couple in the Photo. She seems to be very good at destination thrillers, and this story follows two different women. We find out their connection like in the climax of the book, but so far, we have this woman who is kind of struggling after her niece like drowned in Lake Garda, and the family owns this like luxury hotel on Lake Garda, and they've all kind of gotten over the death of this girl, and she is still really struggling with it. She doesn't really understand how it happened, and no one wants to talk about it. And the other story is this woman in England who just got broken up with, and she starts dating this guy that is kind of sweeping her off her feet, but he seems like he might kind of have like a shady past. And so these two stories, it's really hard to guess what they have to do with each other, but we find out that there is this like crazy connection between the two women, and it just explodes. I couldn't have guessed how this would end, but I really enjoyed reading this book. Both stories are really interesting, and Lake Garda just looks gorgeous. It made me feel like I was staying in the fancy hotel where the book takes place. So I definitely recommend that one. Let me know if you've read The Other Guest. The next book I want to talk about is actually my current read, so I won't spoil it for you because I'm only like 20% through. It's called Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies by Catherine Mack. This is more of a cozy mystery than a thriller, but it's definitely the two. I'm absolutely loving this book so far. It's about this writer of a vacation mysteries series who is being extorted by the guy that she based her like book character off of, and she is trying to kill him off in like the last book, but it turns out that people are actually trying to kill him in real life on their book tour in Italy. And so we're going all over Italy and beautiful places. It starts off in Rome, but we're on our way to Pompeii. We're going to go to Amalfi. We're hitting all of the hot spots, and it has really fun, like Spitfire, kind of Gilmore Girls dialogue going on between the writer and her sister, and all the characters are really, really funny. I'm just like cracking up and reading this and enjoying the sights and the food. I can't wait to see how this book ends. I have been looking forward to reading it for a while. So definitely check that one out if you're into a more cozy kind of story. The next book I'm really looking forward to reading this summer is more on the horror mystery side. It's called Diavola by Jennifer Thorne. And I still have about 8 weeks to wait until I get this book on Libby, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. It's supposed to be like a funny gothic family vacation book set in a place called Monte Perso, Italy. I looked it up. That doesn't seem to exist, but there's like a similar sounding city on the Amalfi Coast. And this is a story kind of like the White Lotus. It's about this like family and they're all really different, and it seems like the protagonist like doesn't get along with anyone in her family, but they have this vacation every year and they choose a different destination. And so they choose this like remote villa in this small town, and it seems like everyone is kind of warning them that like the villagers are like, oh, this place is creepy, like you don't want to stay there, and there's like strange stuff going on in the house, noises and whatnot. And yeah, I don't know what else is going to happen. I'm really looking forward to reading this book. And it's funny because I think I also want to read it because I've always wanted to write a story, like a horror novel about a couple buying one of those like €1 houses in these like Italian ghost towns. I think that would be such a fun story. So hopefully, this book will inspire me to write a story of my own. So I actually didn't know that The Talented Mr. Ripley was originally a book. That was a surprise to me, and I've never read it, but I've been thinking about this story since they've had the new Netflix show. And, I love the 1999 movie as well as the French movie from 1960. So I would really like to read this book maybe this summer. I've looked up the plot online. It follows Tom Ripley, who is sent to Italy, to this place called Mongibello, which doesn't exist, but it's supposed to be somewhere like on the Amalfi Coast. And he goes, in order to try to bring this guy Dicky back to run like his family business. And yeah, the guy is kind of a psychopath. I'm looking forward to reading that and seeing if the ending is different, because every time I've seen this, like the French movie and the movie with Matt Damon, the endings are always different. So I'm looking forward to reading the book and seeing what the ending is like there. So thanks for watching my video today. Let me know what you plan on reading this summer. Are you taking any of these books to Italy with you? And yeah, stick around and subscribe to see more book recommendations. See you next time.